Don't count your problems, count your blessings. This is street wisdom. Truth over noise.
Don't count your problems, count your blessings. We dropping jewels in these hard life sessions. Truth in your ear, hope for your pain. Street wisdom kids running through the vein. Real talk only, we don't do guessing. Lessons from the block to your spirit confessing. Don't count your problems, count your blessings. Every scar's proof that you still progressing. From the stoop to the studio, mic to the pavement. Wisdom in the raw, no filter, no fake hits. Brooklyn to the Bronx where the soul still speaks. We preach to the pain and uplift the weak. You lost a few battles, that's part of the climb. But diamonds get formed in the pressure of time. We ain't here to flex, we here to reflect. Put faith in the field where the world show neglect. Truth in the cipher, hope in the loop. God in the bars and the word in the booth. Turn trials to tapes and the hurt to a hymn. Every loss got a light when you look from within. Don't count your problems, count your blessings. We in the trenches, but we still confessing. Faith in the fight and hope in the lesson. Street wisdom podcast, this the true direction.
What's up with it? It's going down. Street wisdom, talk to me and I'll talk back. Your favorite host from the West Coast. Thank you for listening. Street wisdom all over the world. Thank you for the major support. But today, we're tackling a heavy question. One that I've seen in headlines on social media and felt in the anxiety of countless conversations. Is Donald Trump destroying the world? And more importantly, if you feel that way, how on earth do we move forward? Okay. Big Bully 47 Donald Trump. Okay. This isn't an episode about politics. It's an episode about consequences, perception, and the future of the collective stability in our world. Okay. We're going to look at the arguments for why his influence fills so many across the world. We're talking about a path out of despair. Okay. Let's start with the core of the fear, the ending of the world, feeling. Is Donald Trump destroying the world? Is Donald Trump trying to end the world? For many, this isn't about literal asteroid, but the erosion of the systems we thought were permanent, but they're damaged completely. Okay? Let's break down the argument of why we're having so much turmoil with Donald Trump and his foolishness. Okay? So when you combine the erosion with wickedness, the fraying of the global stability, and the dismissal of the emergency of the people's request to do the right thing, it's not hard why people might see that Donald Trump, Big Bully 47, is destroying the world. The narrative has taken root completely. It feels like a three-pronged attack on our future, your future, for those that are listening's future. Okay? But the whole story, and let me be clear, the whole story, Donald Trump, his supporters will argue the exact opposite, okay? They will say he wasn't destroying the world, but saving it from corrupt political establishments. Isn't that something? They point to a strong pre-pandemic economy, reinsuring of jobs. We ain't got that. We're in the worst job, bounce back, we can't get nothing, okay? Broken peace deals, we already know what's going on with that. In the Middle East, and a tough stance on China as evidence of building a better world. Who told you that lie? Okay. They saw the disruption, not as destruction, but as necessary demolition before a rebuild. Okay. Isn't that something? Trump supporters. The truth, as always, for those that are listening under the sound of my voice, it's messy in politics. The world, the corruption of the world, the wrongdoing of the world. It's messy. But it depends entirely on your perspective. Isn't that something? But let's say you fall into the first camp. Let's say you watch the news and feel a genuine sense of dread that the political discourse is broken. And I believe that is true. It's broken. The planet is burning and the world you know is ending. What do you do with that feeling? Radio listener, podcast listener. How do we move forward? I'm asking in honesty. This is the most important part of this conversation today on Street Wisdom. If we stay in a space of panic and despair, we become paralyzed. Okay, let me break that down for you real slow. We become paralyzed. So here's a framework for moving forward, regardless of who's in power. And we only know there's one power in Jesus the Christ. Recalibrate your scope of influence, okay? Recalibrate your scope of influence. You cannot single-handedly control global politics. It's just not going to happen. But trying to do so will lead to burnout and hopelessness. Instead, shrink the frame. Focus on your sphere of influence. Isn't that something? This is your family, your friend group, your local community. Political change is often a bottom-up process, right? Attend a city council meeting. Support a local newspaper. Run for a school board position. Do you qualify? Can you do that? Volunteer for a local environment. Clean up the streets because it definitely needs to be cleaned up. These actions have a tangible impact and rebuild the civic fabric for the ground up, not down. Okay? This isn't about a president election to come every 4 years. It's a daily practice in your own backyard. And that's real game for Mr. Wallins working overtime. Okay? Fortify your information diet. What? Very simple. Fortify your information diet. Radio listener, the feelings of the world ending is often fueled by a firehouse of outrage and doom scrolling. You must become the editor of your own mind, not your own script. Actively seek out primary sources. And what does that mean, Mr. Wallins? Read from the outlets with different learnings. Lean not to your own understanding, okay? Create the full spectrum of an argument. Take a digital Sabbath. The goal is to be informed, okay? Not inflamed. Church music, you dropping it like that? What? Isn't that something? The goal is to be informed, not inflamed. A clear mind is the first step towards clear action. You got to have a clear mind, okay? And you know, Mr. Wallins, never lean to your own understanding. Build reliance not just resistance. It's not enough to be against something, but you got to stand for something, okay? But reliance is your own life and community. Learn a practical skill, brother. Stop complaining that you can't get no paper. It's hard outside. Lean not to your own understanding, but learn a practical skill. Do something different. Plant a garden and grow some fruit. Get to know your neighbors, allegedly, in some cases. But I do encourage you to join a community organization. When people are connected, locally, nationally, they are better equipped to weather national and global storms to come. That's real deep. And that's something I want you to think about. This isn't about retreating, okay? It's about building a stable foundation from which to engage effectively. Isn't that something? Donald Trump, Big Bully 47. Is he destroying the world? Absolutely not. Because if you trust God, ain't none of that stuff got nothing to do with you. But I do encourage those that are listening to engage in difficult conversations. It makes you strong in certain areas, in most cases. The political divide has created self-destruction, and shouting across it does nothing. You disagree, I agree. Okay, you shout and I'm shouting, but what is it going to create? We have to learn to talk to each other again, you know. Just simple, like Mr. Wallins and our show. Fellowship talk with the Wallins. Not to win, but to understand. This means listening more than you speak. And I used to tell those women that I used to date in the game, you got one mouth to speak and two ears to listen, and you should just listen more right now, sweetie. Isn't that something? Ask questions like, what's the value that's really important to you? Ask your brother, your colleague, your co-worker, sister. Ask your man, your friend, your sidekick, your shooby-dooby. What's your biggest hope for the future with us? Find common ground on shared values. It's okay not to be okay. I disagree to agree, but I can agree to disagree. You understand what I'm saying? But let's talk about things like safety, the opportunity, or the community before debating the policy. Do your homework, because this is hard. Okay? Unglamorous works of stitching, not snitching. Stitching a country back together. Because can you do that, Donald Trump? A call for action. Can you stitch this country back together? For those that are listening under the sound of my voice, is Donald Trump destroying the world? Absolutely. But the key in all of this, and let's be mindful to know what's really going on. Fatal distractions, dictatorship, hypocrite, foolishness, wickedness. Let's do one thing. Let's focus on legacy, not just the news cycle or the latest hot topic or social media. Ask yourself this, listener, regardless of who is president, because my president is God, Abba Father, Yahweh, not Donald Trump, Big Bully 47. Who told you that lie? What kind of world do I want to leave my children? You should think about this, listener. Ask yourself, what kind of world do I want to leave my children or the next generation to come? Let us frame our actions around the long-term goal. Okay? This shifts your focus from reactive panic to proactive purpose. Which means what? My partner Jay Rizzle would always tell me, you know, church, we going through this because we don't vote. He said we're going through this because we don't vote. We don't vote, church. My brother Jay Rizzle in Charlotte. But let us advocate and live your life in a way that builds toward the legacy. Can we do that together? Okay. So is Donald Trump destroying the world? For so many, his impact feels that he is. But whether he is or isn't, in a way, beside the ultimate point is this, from church music, right here on Street Wisdom, talk to me and I'll talk back. The ultimate point, because the world is always ending in some way. Okay? Ending in some way and always being reborn. Check this out. The Roman Empire fell. The Cold War ended. The digital age began. Right? Isn't that something? So the question isn't whether a single figure can bring or end things. No matter how much money you got. Okay? The question is this: what do we do in response to the foolishness, being a witness to the wickedness? Do we succumb to the fear? Because the word of God teaches us, fear not, for I am your God and I am with you everywhere you go. Or do we have the energy to build, to connect, and to plant the seeds of the world we want to see? Not just talking about it or being involved in a crisis or sharing your public opinion. How do we plant the seeds together of the world? So things we want to see done different. Okay? Donald Trump can't end this world. God can only end this world, and it's not that hard. Okay? It's not that hard. The forward way of thinking. This episode, the forward way of thinking. Not through an election. It's through a renewed commitment to our communities, our minds, our beautiful minds, our strength, our faith, our spirit. In closing, on this episode, the forward way of thinking. Thank you for listening. And if you have any thoughts of how do we move forward together, I'd love to hear from you. Find us on social media. Street Wisdom, talk to me and I'll talk back. This segment is brought to you by Fellowship Talk with the Wallins, the new cultural show that provides the wisdom that comes from God in fellowship based on current events. Also visit thewallins.com. Get an exclusive newsletters, blogs, information style, and holy drip. And again, Donald Trump, Big Bully 47, can never end this world. He can create despair and confusion in the world, but we must be doers in our process. Stay blessed. I am Church Music. Street Wisdom, talk to me and I'll talk back. Jay.